Okay, welcome everyone. Do a quick shir. As we've mentioned, each time, the time between Mincha and Maariv, we're joining together in Shirat Dovid with learning. And Rav Shlomo asks who wants to have the opportunity. So someone said they couldn't, and I said I could. So why not? Baruch Hashem, I gave a class anyway today online. If anyone wants more of the details, more of the information, then you just go online, Baruch Hashem, and check it out in Unity Flow. We gave like a 35-minute or so class, so this is just going to be a shortened version with the however many minutes. How long we got? 20 minutes? 18 minutes? 20 minutes, wow. So we do have a good opportunity today to really cover some ground and continue on what we spoke about in terms of Tishrei. We enter into the bias, into our home, into our hearts. We started off with Rosh Hashanah. We have to begin with the Rosh, with the head. In a deeper Svarim, it talks about Rosh Hashanah is a concept of Chokhmah, of wisdom. Rosh, the idea, the place, the Makor of Chokhmah, Reishis Chokhmah, Yiras Hashem, is how we begin our day, hopefully. It's a pasuk that's actually in the Siddur. You don't have to believe me, you can open it up and see after Moda'ani is Reishis Chokhmah Yiras Hashem. I don't know if everyone says it, but it's an important concept to understand that first we have Chokhmah, the Reishis is with Chokhmah, and obviously that goes together with Yiras Hashem. Bereshis itself is the words of Yira Boshis, or it's a concept of awe, awareness, not so much the not so popular translation of fear. Doesn't really work so much nowadays, that translation. But the real key is to have the awareness that we gained from Rosh Hashanah. I spoke about it in my shir, how awesome it was. It's beyond words. I can't really say, being here for the first Rosh Hashanah in my life in Shirat Dovid in Chodesh Tishrei, and we thank Hashem. Tafshin Pei Dalet is begun. We're in Esar Yemei Tshuva, and we're going to discuss a little bit how now to continue going ahead with the Rosh in place. That, thank God, in Shirat Dovid we already felt a lot. We had a lot of heart in Rosh Hashanah as well. It's not that you have no heart, but the real day of heart is Yom Kippur, Yom HaKodesh. This is brought in Svarim. It's Keneged Bina, Bina Salev. The idea of Bina Itim. It's a deep concept. There's even a sefer about the whole avoda of Bina to do with Yom HaKodesh. I remember learning it back in the day by Simai Zilberberg, and it's a very deep concept that we are internalizing what we got from Rosh Hashanah through tshuva, through the Yemei tshuva, through cleaning and cleansing our heart. We reach a level of Bina Salev, and we're going to discuss how Yom Kippur then continues onwards into Sukkot, the Yemei Hachana for Sukkot, the 4 special days that precede Sukkot, and then we'll hopefully tie it together with Sukkot that's coming up already next week. So these are all real live avodas right now that everyone needs to be thinking about as we're going through the Yemei Tshuva and we're cleansing our heart. This is an opportunity because we're preparing ourselves to make ourselves a dwelling. This is the key point, that the Shekhinah needs to go inside of us. We need to be a Kli. In order to be a Kli, we have to go through the steps that Tishrei has set out. And as I mentioned in the previous, you can check it out from the last week's class. It's on the same Unity Flow podcast. The concept of that we have Shabbos, Chodesh Shvi. This month is Shabbos. This is a month to experience a disconnect, to reconnect, an opportunity to work a little bit less. And you can open up Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. We learned it a little bit today with our Choshev Chavrusa that I have, and also with Yossi joined a little bit at the beginning. The idea that we learned that these special days are times not to work so much. It's a time to prepare for the Yom HaKodesh of Lifnei Hashem Titaru. Lifnei Hashem Titaru. We're standing in front of Hashem, and He's purifying us. This is Yom HaKodesh. Now, I think we need to get first, before we get to Yom HaKodesh and these panemius that exist on that pasuk of Lifnei Hashem Titaru, just let's read a little bit of halacha. It's important. Is prophet person conduct himself during these days with additional stringencies? He doesn't practice the entire year. So, there's the idea we want chasodim, we want Hashem to treat us with kindness, so we have to try at least on some level become more chassidish. And I don't mean payers and beards and jackets. I mean, in our actions of being going beyond ourselves. As Hashem Himself, even Serachimim, He acts with us with kindness from a supernal level, a place you make kedem, a place where there's no avera, and we're allowed to access that place. That's the Yom HaKodesh, you make kedem. We enter that realm of purity and oneness of Hashem, and He allows us to enter there and purify ourselves from that place, that source, the root of who we are. And from that place, we have the ability to actually act somewhat godly as well, obviously according to our realities. We don't make weddings during this time. Shabbat Shuvah, a distinguished person should be called to the Torah for Maftir, whoever that will be up to the Gebayim. But we hopefully have a Shabbat Shuvah drasha as well, which has become a custom. So I assume Rav Shlomo will, or someone from the shul who's distinguished, will give over tshuva. And we Kiddush Havana, that's the whole question. Do we do it before Yom HaKodesh because we want more schusim, so to buy in the lulav and esrogim, or do we wait till after Yom HaKodesh? I'm going to explain to you my svara why I wait till after Yom Kippur. We'll get to it. It's going to be part of why I get the Dad al-Minim after Yom HaKodesh. But the concept of getting schusim before the big day, obviously you can understand why you need as many merits as possible, because you're about to Messiah and get a chasima on the Yom Adin. We already explained in the previous one, thanks to Parshas Hazinu, we know there's 52 Pesukim. We counted from Rosh Chodesh all the way to Hoshana Rabbah. So really you have to Hoshana Rabbah till the final Chasima. So there's much more time than we realize, and Hanukkah. We can keep going, Shabbat, Purim. But the point is that there's still obviously a higher level of awareness during these 10 days, and there's an opportunity to get it done early. Why wait till a later time? And then we can actually truly rejoice on Sukkot, knowing that we've done what we needed to do to get to these levels of purification and tshuva. So one of the other things, obviously, we all know a famous concept of, and we're going to talk about it, hopefully, if we get one more opportunity to speak before the Yom HaKodesh, we'll see whatever Hashem wants, but I'm going to learn about it a bit more, the halachas of asking forgiveness. I do ask forgiveness. I'm a newbie here still, and maybe I haven't always understood how things go, or I haven't honored your speaking when you speak. Everyone has something to ask mechila for. My Rebbe personally told the Rebbe would always say to me, "Stop it with your literature cheshbonis." I don't know if that's lashon hara, but it made me laugh. Meaning, don't be so like Yeridik that you have to keep going around asking everyone mechila. It's okay. We're all together. We're chassidim. We're Shirat Dovid chevra. We're not like trying to try and find one on each other. We're all mochu. Everything's good. Often when I used to ask mechila from righteous people, they tell me you have nothing to be mochel. I didn't even, whatever I thought I did, they didn't even notice. Or if they did notice it, they were mochel, or they only saw the good and they didn't even see, they weren't even thinking in those kind of ways that we're thinking in a more smaller way. So often we don't even have to, with more holier people, worry about that. But there are people around, unfortunately, who will take things personally, and you have to ask the mechila. So that's one of the concepts of preparing for Yom HaKodesh. What I want to do now is go a little bit more pneumius, and I'm going to also give over what I gave over a little bit today. I had this concept I mentioned last time about being proactive. That was Rosh Hashanah. That's the idea of going out of your way to choose Hashem. Now, the way I understand it, based on the 7 habits of Stephen Covey, I mentioned him already, this concept of the end in mind. We have to work on a mission statement. If we're going to go through these 10 days, we need to have a goal. We need to have a mission statement. We need to have dreams. We need to have values. We need to have something which is going to guide us towards a higher level of life. And especially now in 2023, 5784 now, can you believe it? That we have to be at a point where we have to be very clear about our values, because the world isn't. It's not even like, like it was when I grew up in London. There was values from a general person, and they were that was accepted reality. We're at a point where there's actual movements and cancel cultures and organized media and agendas. I don't know where it's coming from, but literally to undo the purity and the values of what we've always understood to be true. So based that we're in a society like that, and our children are being exposed to it, they're seeing shorts, they're seeing TikToks, they're seeing reels. I don't care how frum you are, they're going to see it somehow or another, and they're going to constantly be exposed to an attack on what was always a given. So basically we're in such a generation, with these times we really need it. So we really need to be clear. What is our mission statement? We need a mission statement for our home, for our family, for our business, for our shul, for Shirat Dovid, whatever. I'm not one to give the mission statement, but the Rav and the community, the Vad, we have a mission statement of what what we're trying to do to guide us in the right direction, that we maintain strong values, especially as the year goes on and we're not in such a holy time like now, where we're connected to such a holy root of tshuva, where we're not going to always be so in tune with the natural tendency towards values. So this is very important. One of the keys that Rav Yaakov Klein, I'm quoting him again because, Baruch Hashem, I was just in London and had the merit to be given this book by himself. I stayed at his home. And I opened up last time onto being proactive. So I opened up again for this End in Mind class, and I got, thank God, Rabbi Nachman and Rabbi Nosson. And what were they talking about? Rabbi Nachman ben Fei, Rabbi Nachman Simchas Chesaleinu. Rabbi Nachman was saying, one time he spoke with me, to Rabbi Nosson, in grand terms regarding the greatness of yearning, pining, and longing for holy activities, even if one doesn't merit to actually perform them. Even so, the yearning and longing are themselves very great. He brought proof from Halach and Shulchan Aruch, which states if one finds himself or herself in an unclean place where he or she isn't able, I always like to keep it open, he isn't able to recite Kriya Shema, he or she should think the words in his or her heart. The halakhic authorities explain that when one thinks in his heart that he needs to recite Kriya Shema now, but cannot, and feels pain by this, he or she receives reward. Okay, Gavaldik, so you're saying Shema in an unclean place, but you can't. Apiyalachas, Asa. So what do? You think it in your heart. Now, what would you say is the biggest mission statement of the Jewish people? I would say Shema Yisrael. I don't know if anyone has other ones after Rechamocha. There's probably a few big key lines that stick out, because remember, mission statement needs to be clear. You can have levels. Like if you look at the great guides of mission statements, you can have a long page of mission statement with all the different rules you're trying to live up to, the values. But you can also, the real key is to have one line, a one-liner. The chotach achas, as it says in the Gemara, we had chitach achas, this one line. What's the one line that the Gemara in Chagiga brings? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. This is the schus that Am Yisrael have, that we're echad. We're echad with Hashem, we're echad with Torah, we're echad with Am Yisrael. The idea that we're echad ba'aretz, as it says, and we say in the Mincha, this concept, Uvanav v'manuchu bo, and this also connects into the idea of Mincha and Shabbos. This connects into the idea of Shabbos. We didn't speak about it so much the last time. But how does... We mentioned Yom HaKodesh connects very well to the day of Shabbos, the Kriyas Torah. We get the second Luchas, we're somewhat fasting, we're eating less, hopefully, if you're not having Kiddush in the middle of davening like some places. Here we wait till proper time and we daven properly. So we're having a Yom Kippur experience every Shabbos day. I mentioned this. The night is Rosh Hashanah. Now, the Shalas Sudas is Sukkot. We didn't talk about this so much. But the idea of Sukkot, of Shalas Sudas, of Rabbi Rabin, the idea of this climax of Shabbos goes higher and higher, and every Tishrei is connected to Shabbos. So we reach this certain reality as we're going through Shabbos, as we're going through Tishrei, where we're getting more and more together as a people. Sukkah Achas, we're joining together with Am Yisrael, with Vanav Menuchu Bam. We're together as a people, as a nation. We're more about Achdus, more to united with a certain vision of what life's about. We've already had the singing of Shabbos night, we've had the learning and Torah of Shabbos day, and now we're at a point where we're experiencing this oneness on Shalas Sudas. We're experiencing the concept of Yaakov Avinu's light and with his sons of Echad. We're together. Because who was it that said Shema Yisrael? It was the sons said to Yaakov. They were asking him, are we going to bring Mashiach? Are we going to be unified? And he said, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. That's what they said to Yaakov. The son said to Yaakov. And he said back, Baruch Hashem Kavod Ved. But the concept is, and it's brought in Halacha, even in the Hilchos Kriya Shema, the concept of us uniting with the Neshama Achas, and then that uniting with the children of Yaakov is a very deep concept, because we all go back to that. We're all from the original Shvatim, we're all back to the original 12 tribes. This concept of 6 days before Shabbos, 6 days after Shabbos, connected the 12 tribes. Shabbos is the center that unites it all. That's Yaakov Avinu, Nachas Yaakov, Avicha. These very deep concepts, but the concept is when we're in this realm of Shabbos, in this realm of Tishrei, the goal is to get to that Sukkah Achas, that uniting light, that we're all unified together. So how are we going to do that? It's a little bit more complicated to actually achieve that. Fine, we mentioned before in Halacha, we have to ask Mechila, we have to make amends, because Yom Kippur is not Mechaper on our Ben Mechavera. We mentioned that before, but there was another thing that we need to know. There's a lot of tools Hashem gives us. Hashem's always giving us tools, help. He knows that it's not easy. He knows that we need mitzvahs. That's one of the things that a man is different to a woman, that we have mitzvahs that women don't, time-bound, we're learning it now in the Gemara Kedushin. We have certain mitzvahs that we need to do as men to get to a certain level that accomplishes what we need to accomplish in the world. So what's the big mitzvah that we're going to be busy with, other than building a sukkah to unite us all as a family or as a people? What's the big mitzvah we're going to get ready for after Yom Kippur, or before Yom Kippur, depends. We mentioned before, Daled Minim. So we've got to get the Daled Minim. Okay, now let's understand this pasuk again. We mentioned it before. Lifnei Hashem Torah. What is Lifnei Hashem Torah? This is a deep concept. Everyone has to think about this a little bit. Lifnei Hashem means, what is before Hashem? There's something before Hashem that's so holy that doesn't allow any sin. That's the Yomei Kedem. That's this day of Yom HaKodesh. We reach a level, Yudnis Arachim comes from that place, which is beyond Atzilus. It's a place of, you can go into Kabbalah, but let's just keep out the Kabbalah Loshin. We go to a place, it's called the Kocho Yud. It's connected to the concept of Kesser. But the idea is that we're going to a realm which doesn't have any connection to this world of darkness, as it's called in the Zohar, where it's Rubi Ra, it's mostly not good, according to the Zohar, and Balatanya brings it. We're going into a realm of Kesser, a realm of purity. This is the Kocho Yud, the little coats, the little thorn that sticks out the Yud. When you write Sophros, you write a Yud, and it has a little thorn coming out the top. This is called a coats. And that coats, when you draw that coats, and then the Yud comes out of that, that is the Panemius, the inner level of the Shem Havaya. That's the Lifnei Hashem, before Hashem. That's the part that comes before Hashem. That's the realm that has no connection to all these lower worlds till you get down to here. It's a very deep concept, but the point is that when you're in that realm of Lifnei Hashem Torah, your purification, it's like the fifth level. It's the level beyond. We talk about it on Seder night, the fifth coast, that's the Kosher Eliyahu. Interestingly, there's 52 Pesukim in this week's Parsha, which is Gematria Eliyahu, so there's definitely some sort of presence of Eliyahu right now. But Eliyahu is the fifth level. He is a Vesi. He's the one that brings us to the land. He is the level, a place of limit schus, of tshuva, of kapara, of all the good things that we look for at this time of year. And that's the idea that we're reaching into that higher level. It happens to be my name is Eliyahu, but that's not the point. The point is that we are able to reach this level, this fifth level, Lifnei Hashem Torah. Now, comes 4 days after that. As we go through those 4 days, we connect into the Yud, K, Vav, K, 4 letters of Shem Havaya. It continues on. What is the Yud Keneged in terms of how we can relate to it? It's not the high level of tshuva that we talk about Yom Kodesh, that everyone gets purified. The Yud represents, already we've mentioned Chochmah as Rosh Hashanah, but the Yud represents also one of the Daled Minim. Which Daled Minim, does anyone know? No, the Yud is Keneged the Hadassim, I believe, yeah? It's the Hadassim. Keneged the Hadassim. And obviously, each letter is Keneged, the Hadassim is Keneged the eyes, it looks like an eye, the leaves of the Hadassim, there's deep reasons, and it's the Chush Reach, which is a higher level. Then we get the smell. Then we get to the next level, the idea of rovers. What's a rovers? Keneged, this is Keneged the Hay. The second day after Yom Kippur. That's the Hay. And we talk about this in the Kavanas when we shake the Lulav and Esrog on the day of Sukkot. So these are brought down concepts that you can find in many Sidurim and many Sifrei Chasidus, or any Sefer on Sukkot. It will bring it as part of the Tefillahs as Yom Yachid, Yud K, Vav K, Echad. You're bringing together all the different Daled Minim. There's a certain unification going on there as well, and it's representing all different types of Jews and all different types of organs. The Hay is the Arava, is the lips. Then we get to the Vav. What's the Vav? The Vav is the Lulav. The Vav is the Lulav, that's the third day. The third day is the Lulav. It's a Vav. Yeah, literally, it's a Vav, a spine. Okay, now we get to the last Os, which is what you said, the Hay, the Esrog. Okay, so we've gone through the Daled Minim. We've purified ourselves, so we can now get this tool, this kalim, these abilities to get rid of all the negative energy around us. This is the Daled Minim. This is our, we're shaking it to the right, to the left, forward, back, up, down, or depending on your minhag, if you want to go, you go right, I think you go round. So the idea, but you're cleaning the air around you, you're cleaning the energy around you. And not only that, each time you shake it, you're bringing it back to your heart, you're internalizing it. As you mentioned, Yom Kippur is the heart level, so we're internalizing it more and more and more. And then we are, even more important, we're now standing in a sukkah when we're taking the Lulav and Esrog. So this year it's going to be Shabbos, interestingly. So we need to think about how we don't have to do the mitzvah on Shabbos, the first day, so we don't get the Doraita Lulav and Esrog. Obviously, once again, Shabbos has all those energies, all that spirituality that allows us to be potter from doing the mitzvah. And as we mentioned here, when you're not able to do the mitzvah, and we'll read on a little bit. It says the halakhic authorities explain that when one thinks in his heart that he needs to recite Kriya Shema now but cannot, and feel somewhat pained, like I didn't get to hear the show for 2 days, I don't get to show the lulav and esrog, the raisa on the first day, he receives his reward. We have to want to do the mitzvah. There has to be a feeling that we're missing out a little bit, not doing the actual Ma'aseh mitzvah, because if we had a base of English, we would do it. We would blow the shofar, we would shake the lulav and esrog. It's only because we don't have base of English that we're not doing it on the first day. So on a certain level, we are missing out on that actualization that we would have if we had the base of English. Anyway, since we're ending off in another minute, I just want to give you all that inspiration to realize that this internalizing of the shaking lulav and esrog, this holy day of Yom HaKodesh, these holy day right now, just saying, give us a rachamim in slichus, we're connecting ourselves to these amazing tools that purify us and allow us to then bring it into our reality. So there we get to, as I said, to Sukkot, you're inside this space which is a makif, a light surrounding you, and then you're dancing or before that you're doing Hashanas, and then you're dancing with a Sefer Torah, after that, Simchas Torah, Shana Rabbah, Simchas Torah, and the Sukkot is mashpia, advice. We're going to say now in Marav, Sukkot ba'etza tova milefanecha, that Hashem's going to give us all the advice we need. We say it in Marav, Fros aleinu sukkot shalamecha. Before we say ba'etza tova, before we can get the eitzah, we have to have the sukkah. The eitzim of the sukkah give us the eitzahs we need. And this is something Rabbi Nachman brings down. It's a very deep concept. But in order to get the right advice in life, sukkah is the time. But we can't get to that correct advice. Someone asked me before Elul, and just around Elul started, said, should I do this whole big business thing? Or should I wait until after the Chagim? I said, your kavana, your question is correct. I'm not a big rabbi, but I would suggest if you're able to, and you can wait, you can afford to wait, you should wait, because the advice is going to come from this time of year. You're going to get all the eitzes because you've built the vessel for the wisdom to come into. And that's what Sukkot gives us, that's what Simchas, Shana Rabbah, Simchas Torah gives us all the advice we need, but we have to right now, while we're in the Yemei Tshuva and Yom HaKodesh, make sure we're purified enough that we can receive that advice and wisdom. Amen. That's it. Thank you. Should be benched. Okay, let's do more of Pasuk. Sure? Okay. Baruch Hashem. Here we are. Center.